Hello and welcome to another edition of Mamdi's Lounge. Today Mamdi's Lounge is coming to you from the Roy Hotel. As always, we have two guests on the show and of course my usual lounge members. I'll introduce them to you shortly, but first off, let me introduce our topic for today. Today we are talking about surviving and thriving where other businesses have failed. Two classics. In Sierra Leone, not so many businesses have been able to stand the test of time. Some start with a bang, and before you know it, they are no more. Others start slowly and die slowly. Attributed different reasons to this. In some cases, lack of a succession plan for most businesses. Nature of the consumer market, which is small and mostly concentrated in Freetown. Low earning power of majority of Sierra Leoneans, some say unfriendly tax regime, and much, much more. However, there are businesses that have stayed the course and still continue to wax strong against all odds. Businesses that were started long before the Civil War have survived and are still thriving. What is their secret? In the lounge today, I have two guests. Michelle Jones, she is from the Red Lion Bakery, and Melvin Lisk, Managing Director, Grafting Water. Welcome to Mamdi's Lounge, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right. Also, I have Sadia Mara, my usual lounge member, and Hannah Fuller. All right. This is Mamdi's Lounge. We shall be back after the short break. Hello and welcome to Mamdi's Lounge.
We laugh. We cry. With the tastiest guests and the best banter. All signed up by Mamdi's Lounge.
Welcome back. This is Mamdi's Lounge. Like I mentioned, today we are talking about surviving and thriving where others have failed in businesses. Two classics. I have with us in the lounge today Michelle Jones. She is the co-owner of Red Lion Bakery, and Melvin Lisk, Managing Director, Grafting Water. Founded in 1944 during the Second World War, Red Lion Bakery has been a family-owned and operated business in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Since its inception, it has conducted businesses, that is, the production and sale of a singular item, bread. Red Lion is the oldest indigenous bakery in Sierra Leone that has survived the times, spanning more than 7 decades of providing bread to Sierra Leoneans. At the moment, the bakery has over 40 staff, and their motto is, "We need the bread you need." Welcome once again, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, so like I mentioned in my intro, you guys have been around for over 7 decades.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's the secret? in a society where we have businesses that, show up 1 minute and the next moment they are gone.
I wish I could only say actually, primarily, my grandmother was actually the glue in the family.
Okay.
Truly. Indeed, she founded the business back in 1944 at a time when, as we said, it was...
What was the name?
Sorry, my grandmother? Ethel Ashwood. Sorry. And she started the business back in the midst of the Second World War. So you can imagine the strength or feistiness or determination it took. So I would think the reason why we are also here today is because of that strength, feistiness, and determination. And that is something that has passed on throughout the decades to her children and now her grandchildren. So I think we each carry this determination, perseverance. I mean, we grew up with her motto, never give up. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So that has been our mainstay in the family. Apart from the fact that I think we would not be here without some blessing. She was a very Christian lady. So we have to count our blessings and give thanks for the fact that we're still here today. Ladies?
I mean, I was dumbfounded when I heard you talk about Red Lions starting after the Second World War.
Yeah,
I thought that was a mistake.
No. That's
So
what it's
you
not.
people have really been,
We've been around,
for a long time.
I should also say, yes, we write it as we've been around since, and literally all my vans are branded bread makers since 1944. But I have to say, back in those days, from 1944 to about 70, maybe 60-something, sorry, actually, because my grandfather came back from police training in the UK, and he renamed the business Red Lion Bakery. Red Lion, as you all know, is a pub in England, or there are several pubs with the name Red Lion. And it used to be his favorite watering hole. That's where he would go and have a drink. And so when he came back in the 60s, or thereabout, when, I should go back and say the business was actually called Assets, Ashwood, Sons, and Daughters. So that's ASSATS, because Mr. Ashwood and Mrs. Ashwood, my grandmother, Ethel and Eustace Ashwood, had 7 kids, 4 girls and 3 boys. So he called the business Ashwood Sons and Daughters. So to your grandparents and mothers, they remember Assets up to a certain point, and it became Red Lion. I think around about 1968. I'm not quite sure of the exact time he coined. He says, no, it's going to be Red Lion.
And at that time, was it like the only bakery
No.
brand?
Strangely, his cousins, he bought bread back in the time of, like I said, in 1944, from Whitfield's Bakery. He came home at that time with this one loaf of bread. My grandmother says, what, to feed a family of 6? Are you crazy? Are you kidding? This will not do. So, and he says, no, they're rationing bread, and, this is what we have to survive on. This is during wartime. They're rationing bread. And so she says, she started to make bread in a pot. And she did not succeed. She tried again. It was soggy. She tried again until she really, really got it together. And the first people she offered it to, because, as I said, my grandfather was a policeman. They lived in the police barracks in King Tom, which is why we're still there today at King Tom. And she took the loaves of bread that she'd made to the police officers. And they says, wow, Ethel, this is really great. Do you have more? And this is how the business started. She started to bake for the community of her neighbors. And soon it became friends, and then friends of friends, and then became the public. And then a store was opened in 1968, actually where the commercial building stands today. Everybody might remember a Red Line bread shop used to be there at the location where Australian Commercial Bank stands. It was 28 Westmoreland Street in those days.
Oh, wow.
And I remember as a kid, I'm not dating myself now, but I remember coming from Leon Preparatory School all the way down the hill to see Grandma and Grandpa. So that's where we started until 1978. My grandmother bought the property at the corner of Wellington Street and Shackleton Street, which is where we're currently, and she built that building from scratch. So, so that's the
Was there
kind of the history.
a particular recipe that made the Red Lion bread distinct at that time?
I wouldn't say so. She has always believed in quality. She would never do something if it's not going to be good enough for somebody else herself, or to sell, to even give away. She was really not a perfectionist, but she really truly believed in quality.
Okay.
So she used the cookbooks, she perfected it, and what she did was also leaned on the strength of family as well, because we also had a family member who actually just recently died, Uncle Tala, who was a pastry chef. And so we also leaned on the strengths of people with skills to perfect our menu as we have it today. She introduced, I think I sent you a blurb where she introduced, there's a bread called Thunderbolt, and they said it kills hunger in a minute. So this was back then. I think we're still doing it today, but we don't call it Thunderbolt. We call it something, well, there are several different names that we use for different breads. But Thunderbolt was quite a hit in the 60s. And again, it's because it was, as they say, a lot of people say, our bread has gut, or I mean, it's filling. That's what I'd like to say.
Yeah.
It keeps you fuller for longer. That's what I like to say. And really, it sustains you. So
Very interesting, right? So Michelle, I mean, since you guys, I know it's a family business.
Yeah.
I mean, it started from your grandparents up till this point. So
Right.
how has it been since you guys took it over?
How has what?
How has it been? I mean, the business, because again, a lot of other things have been,
Change. There's been change over the years because, excuse me, sorry. Currently, we are in the third generation. Like I said, it was my grandmother, and then she handed over the business to her 4 girls, my mother and her 3 sisters, and then currently now myself and my cousin Cyril, who is Mrs. Grant's son, run the business. And you're right, there have been changes over the years from, I would say, even the types of breads that we've been producing. I hope I'll have a chance to introduce a moringa bread, which was the latest bread we added to the menu in 2017. And there's been those changes to the menu. There's been changes within the family, i.e. deaths of members of our family, which has made, sometimes actually brought the business to a standstill in 2014. Plus the epidemic hit. But when we started in 2015, I can't say it was without any hurdles. There were hurdles. We've overcome them. And we're plodding along. And it just, as I said, takes determination. I choose to think that the reason why we're here today is resilience. Some people really give up quickly, and we've learned not to give up.
All right, thank you. Go on.
So I'm so inspired listening to you. I was going to ask what inspired your grandma to start the business, but you already answered that.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest challenge you'd say you faced so far since you took over?
We took over the challenge.
The biggest one.
Biggest one. It's almost like it's easy because actually, you have to be thankful when something has been handed down to you and you've had the sequence gone on. You know how to pick up the baton and run with it. So on the one hand, it's been easy because we've been plugged in. We actually grew up in the business, so it was easy to pick up and run. Challenges, I would say for me, it would be in sourcing flour, in obtaining these local, the raw ingredients, the fluctuations in foreign exchange. For me, obviously, we're used to having lived abroad for over 30 years. We're used to, I'm dating myself again, we're used to having set prices for a while. And if things are going to change, it's with reason. Here, as you were witness to about a week ago or a few weeks ago, the prices just change at the whim of anyone, So that to me is a challenge because if you've noticed, we have a price list that we put out yearly. We don't change the price within the year just because flour goes up from $2.35 to $3.10 a bag. And so it's a challenge because, yes, it would bring down my profit margin, but I have to just make sure that I have planned for the best, I've hoped for the best, and make sure, I'll have an opportunity maybe 2-3 months down the line to say, okay, you know what, we've tried, but we'd have to increase price today, but it doesn't allow me to change price when things change, we have to bite the bullet, we have to suck it up, and it's difficult, when you have to source.
Let me just come in here. In terms of that particular challenge, wouldn't it pose an opportunity for Red Lion to start exploring other forms of flour, banana flour, or cassava, or sweet potato?
It has,
and then that's an opportunity to have something else.
And I said this earlier when we had the first bump with brown flour, when the local flour mill closed, and it's still closed today, and that's the only place where we used to get brown flour or whole wheat flour. And Cyril and myself were wondering, now what are we going to do to replace brown bread? We can't just have fresh bread all along. And so we started with moringa bread because a lady had come, the proprietress of Moviga had actually come a few months before to bake moringa biscuits. So I said to her, if you can do moringa biscuits, I can certainly do moringa bread. And so because it has the same medicinal or health benefits, we were able to somewhat replace the absence of brown bread with moringa bread. People today, when they come to the shops, prefer moringa over brown bread. Now they've gotten a taste of that. But you're absolutely right. The other day I got a visit from an NGO that said that they want me to start buying their sweet potato flour to make sweet potato bread. And so what this does to me is send me into my research and development mode because I just can't start just like that. So I will be doing some R&D in the sweet potato bread and perfecting it on the guinea pigs at home, which is ourselves, before we send it out to you guys.
All right, okay. Thank you so much, Michelle. I have to stop you there for now. I'll come back to you. Thank you very much. She is Michelle Jones, co-owner and manager of Red Lion Bakery, and she's right here in the lounge today with us. And we are talking about businesses that have been able to survive the odds in Sierra Leone. We also have in the lounge today Melvin Lisk. He is the managing director of Grafton Spring Water. Intropec Sierra Leone Limited, the manufacturer for Grafton Spring Water, started operations in June 1993 in Moritown. As a beverage manufacturer then, it was responsible for the production of assorted line of alcoholic beverages, such as Royal Tots Gin, tonic wine, and paddle rum. Yes. In 1995, the Allied Bottling and Spring Water plant at Grafton was acquired and water manufacturing was added to the portfolio. Currently, the company has over 90 employees with several line outlets throughout the country and has developed a network and distribution system true to itself. Welcome, Melvin.
Thank you.
So tell me, how has it been? What's the secret? Because you've been around for 1995 till now and you're waxing strong.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
growing from strength to strength. So what's the secret?
Well, hearing Michelle speak, it resonates a lot. And she said, well, it's basic. It's not basic. It's perseverance, hard work, then having a strong family member like my mother. Really, the glory doesn't. It's not the company. It's the brains behind the business, which is my mother, Lillian Lisk, and she's been doing business since 1972, and all that hard work and all that business, innovation and everything pays off. And like my rightful cousin said, by the way, we are cousins. Yes.
Okay.
Like Michelle said, it's basically hard work, perseverance. You don't give up. And one thing you haven't mentioned, we've been through 2 wars. We've been through Ebola. We've been through the mudslides. We've been through so many things, and yet we've stand still. We've reduced on other products, or we seized some other products like the alcohol. We were also doing homemade ice cream. We stopped all that because of the war. But the war has been so successful, so we just ran off with it.
Yeah, so someone would probably ask, you were doing alcoholic beverages. How did you realize that water, this thing called water can actually be a business that we can make money out of?
True. Good question. When we took over in Allied Spring facilities in 1995, it was just another business venture that we went into. But then it became a first mover advantage. Water became an issue in Sierra Leone. So then people started going for bottled water, and then it just picked up after that. And then slowly and surely, like you said, perseverance, it paid off. And so that's how it is. And up to now, I believe we're the inspiration behind the water business, because there's so many water companies using it in Grafton.
Definitely.
Yes. I'm just inspired by the fact that both businesses were started by women. Like the female brains behind this thing. So it shows that I think somehow we have a lot of gifted women and we don't give women enough credit for these things. I never thought Grafton I didn't even know Grafton was like
A family
locally,
business.
like a family business.
Okay.
I thought it was some foreign-owned business. That's what I always thought. So I'm learning, and just to know that there's a woman behind it and Red Lion, I'm so inspired. Hopefully, 50 years from now, they'll be talking about, my grandma sat here. So,
Thank you.
yeah, this is good.
So with the influx of other water companies, has that affected your business in any way?
I would be a lie if I said I don't. It has. I believe our weaknesses was the one that actually allowed other competitors to creep in. But one thing I would say, if you stay the course, keep to your true business, which is what we've done in the past. However bad, however good, I would say, because we're not perfect. You stay the course and you keep to your true self. Because we've been known for the most expensive water. Grafting there, grafting this.
Yeah.
So we've stayed the course and people are jumping in. And I would say the not the failures, but the bad things like the mudslide, like the Ebola, all these things that happen have actually enhanced the image of good producing quality water.
Right.
So all those all these events help to increase people's likeliness to buy good water.
Okay.
So yes.
So I like grafting.
Yes.
Let me say that, and I've noticed that. So this person who looks at what's served at restaurants and stuff, I've noticed that it's never really most of those major restaurants and businesses and hotels in Freetown don't sell grafting.
I was out last day.
Right.
Just to buttress what Sad is saying. I went to 2 places. We had dinner. The other place, was a particular brand was there. And I noticed that it was not grafting, and we had a conversation around that. And somebody said, well, it's a certain group of people. They support each other, so they tend to promote their own sort of.
So
and I wouldn't want
and it's
to
almost like they're.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't want to be too explicit. But
You cannot, but
I wouldn't want to be too explicit, but that's generally the idea.
the trend.
If I'm in I hate to say it, but if I'm in a Lebanese restaurant, I would support my Lebanese brothers. So it's something like that. They would refuse and say, oh no, this is a restaurant I've been to and I'm promoted my water. But one thing, like I said in my earlier statement, we're considered the high-priced water, and not everyone would go for it. But which is fine. We're still a market leader.
Yeah.
We still have a significant significant share in the market.
Okay.
And we pride ourselves on that, and we still engage, people on it, and still strive to get new customers and everything. But like I said, the past events have actually have actually changed people's perception. And now I could list a few restaurants that you would find I want to. Lagundo's one. I was so shocked.
Yeah.
I actually personally supply them. And Radisson Blue is another one, but then we didn't meet up on the price. So again, price is one thing. And so we pride ourselves on that. High quality, high price. And I don't think we will move down for anyone. Yes.
So while we're on that, can I say something? Because I think this has to do with local content, right? I've been to many of these restaurants and you see imported water, and that bothers me because if we're in Sierra Leone, I think about how long it took them, how long ago the water was manufactured to start. It was bottled. The time it took to transport it here, and then it's still in the fridge while we can get fresh water here, and it's family-owned business, Sierra Leonean-owned businesses, and these are not being carried in businesses in Sierra Leone. I think this is something, hopefully we have government officials watching this. This is something, when we talk about local content, this is something government should look into, because we have, I know yes, Grafton has maintained its stance as a market leader and for producing quality water, but we want to see our own brands in this hotel, in these hotels and restaurants when we go there.
All right, we'll come back, Sadia, before Megan responds. Let's just take a quick break. This is Mamdi's Lounge coming to you from AYV Television, and we are here at the Roy's Hotel in Freetown. And today we are looking at surviving and thriving where others have failed in businesses. We have two classics, Red Lion Bakery and Grafton Spring Water. So we'll be right back after this break. Hello and welcome to Mamdi's Lounge.
We laugh. We cry. With the tastiest guests and the best banter. All signed up by Mamdi's Lounge.
Welcome back. This is Mamdi's Lounge coming to you on AYV, and today Roy Restaurant right here at Lumley Beach. Today we are talking about surviving and thriving where others have failed in businesses. Two classics, Red Lion Bakery and Grafton Spring Water. I have the managing director for Grafton, Melvin Lisk, and also co-manager and co-owner of Red Lion Bakery, Michelle Jones, right here in the lounge, in addition to Hannah and Sadia, my lounge members. We continue with the conversation. Before we went on the break, Sadia was talking about local content, and how you guys have been, trying to manage with all the issues around that. Now, so let's talk about the hygiene aspect, because maybe some people will think that, what they sell to their customers, let's say a hotel, what you sell out to your customer has the potential, if it goes wrong, it has the potential to rub off badly on your business. The hygiene aspect. So how much attention are you paying to something like that?
Question, Mamdi. On the hygiene aspect, like I said, we hold ourselves to a high standard. We even have an in-house lab that we do our testing every day to make sure, and there are tasters there to make sure the water is good before we send it out to the public. So on that front, I think, we're fine on that. But then there is this African conception that Obayanda better pass. Yeah. So there's also that, stigma that we're also fighting. Oh well, if I buy what's away Commander, it better pass. No. We also make good water as well. And we encourage people to try our water regardless of the cost. One thing I know this government and previous governments have tried. There's even a local content policy, local content office as well. And I believe they've made some strides. So I'm not going to be too hard on this government or previous governments, but they're trying.
Let me just ask you on the hygiene and all of that. I've always wondered what is really the true source of Grafton Spring Water. Is there a spring? Is it from I don't know. I want to know.
That's a good question, and I should have tackled that. We do have our own source. It's actually beneath the rocks, like it says on our logo or on our label, and it's beneath the rocks, and it's housed. It has its own house, and there's a pump house next to it that we pump it through and goes through each filtration line. Okay. We don't do filtration like most water companies do. We focus us on a pure filtration. We don't want to take all the natural ingredients away from it. Okay. So I would say that's one of our secret ingredients. So other water companies, if you're out there, this is a learning bit for you. Yes.
No chemicals, nothing like that.
No chemical whatsoever.
It's fresh.
It's fresh from fresh spring water. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Marketing strategy.
No.
Say spring water.
Yeah.
But when you talk about
and before they call them to tick water.
Oh yes, it was the former Tutik water that we bought.
So why Tutik?
Well, apparently this was the story when my parents initially went there to look at the factory. There was tree. You know, saying Creole, say thick.
Oh, too thick.
So too thick the end. So they say, well, we'll call, I guess, the people at the time, the Yazbek. No, there are 2 trees standing there, but in Creole, the local palang is too thick. So they just named it too thick. Yeah, and apparently there were wild creatures running around. So that was all added up to, within 2
In grafting.
And grafting was just when we bought it over, we changed the name to pay homage to the town.
Okay, that's good. So you actually have made grafting famous.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
So
the home of
thanks for the
grafting
lesson.
spring.
I just learned something. Seriously. So I've been up country a few times, and I noticed that there's no grafting water up country.
Okay.
And I remember we were going to Kabbalah at one point, and we forgot to buy water at grafting when we were going.
Okay.
And then the other team that was coming, they were already at McKinney.
Okay.
And so they searched the whole of McKinney, no grafting water.
Okay.
If you go McKinney, and I was there last week, if you go McKinney, water way you go, either get Guinea water, you get Guinea water. If you go up, you get water from Guinea, or you get other water there. And the thing is, I don't even know if it's just about the price, because there are people who want grafting when you go up country.
Correct.
So we actually seek it out. I don't know if you've explored avenues to get it up country, or maybe you should think about having your own distribution centers instead of having to go through going
So
through
they will have to pay
established
us for that
agencies and
advice.
stuff. Yeah, I think there should be a consultation
Yes,
fee
but
for
before you answer to Sadia's question, in fact, maybe one thing to see, having a brand like grafting, been around for so long.
Correct.
Let's understand your expansion drive. Is it only limited here in Freetown, or let's talk about the expansion?
Okay.
Are you looking to go into
No,
the
let him
region,
answer.
Mano River,
Let him tell us what's
Guinea,
the problem.
Liberia?
So
I mean, these are all
let
part
him
of the
tell us what's
expansion.
locally.
I've been thinking of my answer.
Yes, in fact, you were going to answer that question first.
One of our
But that's
objectives
okay, we'll come back
is
to you.
to export our water. Even the time I came in the business 2007. Yes, I studied in the US and came back.
Okay.
So during that time, we tried several avenues to export to more desert countries like Mali, all these Saharas or Sahel, places. But then it fell on flat ground. But besides that, we're now looking to now do, like you said, the Mano River Union, Guinea, Liberia. We've tried, and one thing you should know, doing business in Africa, it's not easy. And finding people, they all want you, they will want the water, but they want you to come in and bring it. They don't want to, take the risk. So we have all these challenges that we're facing. So it's one thing that we're looking at on the expansion side. And another one, like you said, I have to introduce a new cup. Sorry, I have to. This is something we're doing right now, and it's moving, but it's not. Yeah, and this is what we're drinking right now. So it's not moving the way I want it to move. So I thought I'd use your platform to advertise it more.
But why? Was it designed for a particular purpose?
It was
to fit a particular.
It's more the way I see this cup water is more for children's occasions, parties where you don't want to spend much. Let me just have my cup in the water. You actually reuse the cup for something else.
Yes.
So it has like a multiple purpose.
Okay.
So Mervyn, so I know you spoke about expansion. You're thinking, regional or what have you. But let's talk about local. We're talking about. Sadia mentioned about McKinney.
I was about to.
Yeah. So locally, how far have you gone? Because you've been around for quite some time.
We've gone far, and I'm
10 years
surprised
or
you're
more.
still saying that, because we used to sell everything by ourselves, but now we have distributors now that we've involved now. There's a distributor in McKinney. We have about 2 or 3 outlet shops in Bo. We're in Kono.
Okay.
We're looking to go to Kenema, and even Kabbalah is another one. I have a friend who's pestering me.
It
Oh,
took
you
you
need
so
to be
long,
there. You need to be there. You need
Melvin,
to be
to
there.
cover all this.
It is. So the name of the game is have a distributor you rely on to sell your goods.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, your overheads is not all over the place. So you have to contain your overheads. But this is the challenge. It's not easy to do business in Sierra Leone. Everyone wants the easy way. Everyone wants to come in. Now we're having a lot of people coming. I want to be a distributor. But by distributing, they want the perks of a distributor and have it in their shop and not actually distribute it around.
All right. So,
So
I'll come
this
back
is
to you.
the
I'll come back
challenge,
to
is
you
it?
on the issue of overheads and the difficulty in doing business out here.
Thank you.
Michelle, Red Lion.
Yes.
You've been around for over 50 years.
Yes.
And
Donkey years.
yes. So we have one outlet at Shaka Stevens Street, and recently in 2017 you had you opened another one here in Lumley.
shop, yeah.
Some people will say, I mean,
I know.
yeah, you should have been all over the place
Like all over the
because
place,
of
yeah.
the years of existence.
True. Well, as you know, real estate is not easy in this country. That's one. So yes, we have our flagship store on Shaka Stevens Street, which is a building that we fully own. It's ours. My grandmother, bought that property. Now, we used to rent a shop or a space on Kissing Road, right beneath Dr. St. Williams' surgery. We lost that when the business closed in 2014 because they had to rent to other people who were still going on. Unfortunately, I've tried to actually get it back because it's a really good location. It has a ramp, so the van can pull in and drop off bread. So for me, the challenge also, that would be another challenge when you asked. When people say, why aren't you in the East End? I just don't want to put a bread shop anywhere in the East End. I don't want to have to block traffic and have people say, oh, Red Lion, and they offload grade middle teeth and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not going to be that way. So I'm looking for the perfect location, not perfect, but prime location, a good area where, for example, if it's like Kleintown, where you have all roads converging in that area. So I've been really going around and scoping and looking for shops that are available. I will put a bread shop there immediately if all the conditions are right. And the price too, because now everything is in dollars. So yes, we have that. But we are aided, even though we have these two locations now at Shaka Stevens Street and the one we recently opened in
Lumley.
on Spur Road in Lumley,
Spur Road, yeah.
around the corner from the Lumley police station. We are, how should I say, assisted by what we term independent retailers. These are vendors. You have distributors, I have vendors. I have people who come to me and purchase bread for resale. Now they are all over the place in Freetown, across Freetown, and they do carry a sign that says Red Lion bread sold here. Now we hear other people are doing the same, and sometimes it's not Red Lion bread that they are selling. So you have to be careful because you have to look out for a sign. I don't have a copy of my card here, but if you've seen the branding on our shops, it's the same, similar to what these retailers will carry, and you will know that that's Red Lion bread. So there's a challenge there because everybody wants to quote sell bread and say it's Red Lion when sometimes it's not Red Lion.
So I think that there's a little problem here. I come from a branding background, so I think like the bread really there's no branding on it. So this is a minus, and this is what probably is causing the problem.
That, yeah.
And it's easy for other people to just brand their bread and pass them as Red Lion when it's actually not.
I'm glad you brought that up, and let me just respond to that. Yes, these are just plain packages, but we do have branded bags that we put our sweet bread, our moringa bread, which unfortunately is not here, but the rolls are here.
Okay.
So moringa sweet and malt. The malt loaf goes into that. And the reason why you'll say, well, why are you only doing it for those selected breads? I would say they're my luxury items. It costs me more money to buy, to brand those bags. And my difficulty, really, or my pet peeve, is the fact that these plastic bags end up in the gutter and make Sierra Leone or Freetown, Sierra Leone, the whole place, a pitiful, disgusting place to look at. So I really, really abhor plastic when not used properly. And, this is not plastic bags you can reuse. You understand? So, unfortunately, yes, you're right. I should be branding every bag. It's going to cost me money, and then you're going to throw it and put it in the gutter. And I'm going to be looking at my bags in the gutter and saying, oh, woe is me. I just spent, 180
So what other better ways, are you
Well,
thinking?
people who know our bread. Sorry? Paper bags? We can do paper bags.
With every challenge,
Yeah.
it comes an opportunity.
True.
So we're talking about people who do packaging or people who want a business idea. Packaging is one of them, and a lot of Sierra Leoneans who are into businesses and,
Right.
and need packaging have a problem with that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another question I wanted to put to
But we package all the breads,
No.
though. All of our breads come in plastic bags, and not only do they come in
I
plastic
understand
bags,
that, but in terms of
they're tagged. So
like our
once this is off-
sensitivity now
Yeah.
to the environment, for
Correct.
example,
Yeah.
like what you just expressed, you know, you brand a plastic bag that
Ends
you're
up-
going to, somebody's going to open and
Toss.
throw away,
Yeah.
and it takes about 300 to 400 years for plastic to degrade.
Yeah, yeah.
So it means we're causing some harm on the environment.
True.
So I was also going to ask Melvin here, how sensitive is Grafton Spring Water to issues of the environment? And if you're thinking in future of how you can be more environmental friendly in your packaging.
Good question.
I mean, you could do recycling. but,
Intropex is environmentally friendly. One of the things you should know in doing water business, you're required to have a lab. And with the lab comes regulation from EPA. So with EPA, for you to get a license, you have to submit your quarterly reports, which is up to 4. When you do your 4 quarterly reports, then in that 4 quarterly reports, you have to state how you manage your waste that you give out. And when it's verified and it's confirmed, then they give you your license. But that being said, recently, Intropex, among some huge manufacturing companies, have come together with government to basically a proposal to form a public-private partnership that we're working on. It's something that was spearheaded by the Chief Minister, and it's something that we've been working on because I guess he went on a visit to Rwanda, and he saw something spectacular. Rwanda does not have a single plastic on the floor,
Yeah.
a genocide country. So he was so inspired, he came back and he summoned all the plastic companies, including us. And we are one of the companies that are spearheading this. So that's one of, it's true. It's on record.
What does that mean?
So it's something, if it's approved by government, then it's something government and private companies like us would work on and work towards. Yeah.
Okay, that's positive.
I was going to pose the same question to Michelle, but I was going to ask.
Can't wait to eat
So when
that
I
bread.
pose the same question is, have you thought about replacing plastic bag with something that's more environmentally friendly? That's
Okay.
one. And then I think for the most part, people who, I might be wrong, but I think people that really buy it that way, they get money small.
Then get me to
Money. So other packaging options, paper was what we used really back in the olden days. And we branded. I don't know if you remember the brown paper bag, and it had assets for the longest time, and also Red Lion. But the sides used to have Ashwood Sons and Daughters. Even the tins, actually, where the bread was made, was branded Ashwood Assets. Yeah. So we had that. We used brown paper bags before, and then literally for about maybe 10 or 20 years or so in between, we used no bags at all. If you remember, the last
Yes.
generation or my mother's era, literally they were selling bread on the shelves just like that. And when Seal and I came back in 2015, it was one of the things because I would not have bought bread maybe at my own shop because I just did not like the fact that it was just there on the shelves. So we said every bread was going to be packaged. Every single loaf, roll, you name it, was going to be packaged. This was also because we were also restarting on the heels of Ebola. So we had to ensure that, the package, the bread that you're getting is actually being packaged with by us at the bakery and sealed. So if you come to me, and that's one thing, we don't exchange bread at all in any of our establishments. Because if you come to me, unless you come to me with the bread with it sealed this tight, and you say, I made a mistake, instead of sliced, I wanted the regular, I may change it. But rarely do I want my staff, I tell them, do not exchange anything, because once that bread leaves the shop, that's it. And it's okay, yeah, sorry for you. So I just gone to everybody to big ma.
All right.
Anyways,
Still with you about expansion. Okay. before I come on with my next question, we'll go for a quick break and then we come back. Don't forget you're watching Mamdi's Lounge and it's coming to you from AYV. And today we are at Roy Restaurant right here at Lovely Beach with my guests and of course members of the lounge. Today we are talking about surviving and thriving where others have failed in businesses. And we have two classics here, Red Lion Bakery and Grafton Spring Water. We shall be right back. Hello and welcome to Mamdi's Lounge.
We laugh. We cry. With the tastiest guests and the best banter. All signed up by Mamdi's Lounge.
Welcome back. This is Mamdi's Lounge coming to you from AYV, and we're here at the Roy Hotel having this conversation. Today we have Michelle Jones from Red Lion Bakery, co-owner and manager, and of course managing director of Grafton Spring Water here in the lounge, in addition to Sadia and Hannah, my usual lounge members. Before we went to the break, Michelle, I wanted to ask you about your expansion desire to expand. Because you just have two outlets in Freetown, one on Shepherd, one on Spur Road. So any plans to go up country? Because Freetown is not Sierra Leone.
It's true. And we didn't really, it didn't start off to just have it, Freetown centered, so to speak. The dream, the desire, the goal of my grandmother was really, before she passed, to go up provinces. Because in her days, in my mother's days, and even in my day, we have people coming to order lots of bread for conventions. Well, I think it was Large one year that ordered and took bread, up to the provinces, because the quality of the bread up there is not so great. So we do have people coming in, and I guess maybe we're relying on, yes, our bread is not selling, but being shown there. But in terms of having a presence there, logistics, it's going to be really, really difficult. So I differ from him. He can have distributors. I cannot, because I'm selling a perishable item. People would want that item
Fresh.
Thank you. So that would mean I would have to wake up at 2. Now I get up at 4. I'd have to wake up at 2 every morning, get the vans lined up to take that 6-hour or 8-hour trek.
It's doable.
So it's doable. Now we can't do it alone. We're looking for partners.
Right.
We're looking to collaborate. If Coca-Cola is out there and they're watching this show, call me. Call me. Because I want to sell bread wherever Coke is sold.
Okay. So growing up also, I failed to ask you about the hygiene, so I'm asking you now.
Yeah. Okay.
So growing up, this you can get to we say we put on the bake bread, when they fix the bread, how do they whip the sweat? Right, anyway. That's what we these are stories. You have stories like that before, no? So yes.
Those
So
are the bakeries.
then and then we also hear about people using their feet.
Oh, God.
Okay. All right. Okay.
These are stories of
those are the bakeries.
So yes, hygiene.
Let me come in here. Allow me. So thankfully, and it was pretty good. I'm not quite sure whether you saw the show on AYV. Actually, Vicky Remo actually came to our facility the other day and taped everything from start of production to the bread going to the shop for sale. And nowhere were we stamping or sweating. We had all the things in place. From the moment you step into the compound, there's a bucket for you to wash your hands. The bakers who go into the back and come out. I have my sign, wash your hands here. I have a bathtub, not a sink, a bathtub with 2 sinks, 2 taps rather, for them to be able to wash their hands. So I have 9 bakers on 2 shifts that we have, 9 bakers each. And that's what they're supposed to do. I have cameras pointing to them when they come out from the out yard, so to speak. Woe betide them. Now they call me Iron Lady. Woe betide them if they come straight through and they don't stop at, the stop station. So, no, but you know what? Having said all of this, they also know the value, or they also are into the health or the hygiene, or ensuring that, even if they have flour now up to their elbow, they go back and they wash their hands. Yes, I think when people saw the tape, they were shocked to see the bakers kneading the bread with their bare hands. And they were like, oh, we should wear gloves. I'm like, you Google on YouTube or anywhere else and see how many bakers are using gloves to knead bread. You don't. It's the best way to knead bread or bake a cake or anything. It's with your bare hands. You have to. So that's why we make sure we have our soap dispenser, we have the sink, we have water, thanks to Guma Valley, every day. And we get them to wash their hands. And they're keeping up with that tradition. In terms of the mixing, and that happens in other bakery where they mix with their feet maybe. In our bakery we have 2 huge mixers and that's where we mix our bread. In terms of sweat, yes, it's natural because it's a hot environment. Sweat will naturally pour. And I tell them, once you get very sweaty, make sure you go wash your face, wash your hands. But they're each draped with a towel. Every baker that comes into my establishments gets 2 aprons and a towel. Granted, they lose it, but when they lose it, they pay for it if I have to give them a second one. So they're watching me out there, and you know it. So now that I've said it on TV, you better be doing it. It will cost you.
Okay, so I know we are rounding up now. Melvin mentioned something about, and a lot of people believe that doing business here is difficult because of several reasons. Okay. And I'm sure there are people out there, maybe somebody don't watch we don't start business when the business die by the same way you start. Mm-hmm. So they might need some tips from you guys. How have you been able, because it's difficult, that's the reality. But then how have you been able to overcome all these difficulties, to the point that you're still here, and not only here, but thriving, doing businesses successfully? So I'll start with you.
I would say one thing when you're going into a business, I'd say let it be a hobby, something you like waking up to.
Okay.
When there's this saying, I live grafting, I breathe grafting, I dream, everything I do is grafting. So if that's a hobby, then if you have your shortfalls, if you have whatever situations you have, you can overcome it. So that's one. The number 2, make sure you work hard. Work very, very hard. Number 3, you have to add that with a slice of perseverance. Yes, definitely. Okay. And then the last one is just network well with people.
Yeah.
You have to mingle with people, meet people. Don't be, if you're a shy person, you're an introvert. I'm not saying you should go make parties every day. No, you should try and meet people, network with people, know their ideas. Even your competitors, I'm not saying be friends with them, but know what they do. So you can actually learn from them. There's some things I've learned from my competitors.
I wanted to ask, is Grafton thinking of any new additions to their line? Your in terms of,
Good question. Definitely soft drink lines, juice line.
I was thinking, I'm wondering, flavored water?
Flavored water is one thing, yes, you mentioned. I'm keen on, the water drips, the different drips. That's something that could be used. Spring water, basically, is good for that. So we could market that. So, and then of course I see us exporting to Western countries would be my favorite. Because then Forex won't be a problem after that. Okay. So Western countries, but then contracting big name people like Pepsi, who's absent here. Pepsi, other big names that we could make, their own drink choice here, so they could be present here. Those are the sorts of things I see us do. Yes.
All right. So the same question for you, Michelle. Where do you see Red Lion? Because I know you do a singular item, which is bread.
It's only been bread.
Where do you see Red Lion in the next 5? Because you've been around for too long.
Way
75
years. Way too long. To the point that we should be talking about Red Lion cake, red lion buns, red lion pastries. So where do you see red lion?
Who's going to that?
I know, red lion water.
Yes. So where do you see red lion?
He's not laughing.
All right. So before you answer the where do you see red lion question, so tips. Because
Yes.
I'm sure somebody will be looking at out.
I think he said it best. I think Melvin said it best. Because
Okay.
really, they say, do what you love, and then it won't seem like work at all.
Right.
So obviously, I think have a passion for the bread business. And truthfully, when I came in 2014, I actually came in July 2014 to commemorate the first anniversary of my mother's passing. Ebola was at its height at that time in Sierra Leone, and I was, for the first time, sitting at the homestead at King Tom without red lion bread. My body been a bed to me. I was like, what? This is the first time I've ever woken up and not had red lion bread. At that point in time, the seed, it wasn't even a seed because I didn't really accept the closure, temporary or not. But the process for me to restart Red Lion took over. When I realized that when I sent to buy bread, what they brought back to me tasted like paper, I said, nah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to start, stay here really. And at that point I thought, I don't think they want me back in Canada. You know, everybody will be like, where is she from? Sierra Leone? Ebola? So I took an exit package. I was working for the province of Ontario at that time. Took a quick exit package, and thankfully I was able to get that, and I stayed here to restart Red Lion. So these are all the little blessings along the way, because it wouldn't have happened like that, but it took me snapping out saying, I really want to do this. The fact that really it's in my blood. I could not do anything else here in Freetown. I couldn't really work for the government, even though public administration is my field. No, it would be business for me. It would be doing something like this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It has been Mamdi's Lounge, but before we go, Melvin and of course Michelle supported what Melvin said about how to keep a business alive. So Melvin talk about hobby. You go for like what you do.
Oh yeah.
You know, looking forward to going to this, looking forward for go to do this business every single day. You have to be your hobby. But let you succeed in that business. I know so we all on time we had that business one way or the other. Me your business the way it starts, you know, go faster for like that. But in any case, so I don't get some tips. Melvin say you get for work hard. I mean, hard work pays any day. You know, perseverance as well. You get for persevere. If you don't succeed this time, you get for try back. Push a little bit more for make you succeed. And of course, network well. You know, like mingle with people, them try for be more friendly. That is the hard to make business for stay on. We all agree and we all notice salon not so easy place for do business. But of course, we then tips there. So I'm sure if you want to do business out there, it might just be very helpful to you. So on behalf of all of us on the lounge today, I have been your host, Mamdi Gobekama, on behalf of my guests. Thank you very much, Michelle, Sadia, and Hannah. It's been Mamdi's Lounge coming to you on AYV television. Thanks for your time.